Hi, welcome to my channel. I do movie reviews. Today we are talking about Army of the Dead. It just came out on Netflix last night. So if you have no idea what this movie is about, it is about a localized zombie infection in Las Vegas. And there is a businessman who makes a business proposition to another man to go into this zombie infested, fenced off former Las Vegas, and get a bunch of money. And he accepts and kind of puts together this group of people to help him accomplish this. That's basically what it's about. So one of the things that is to be noted about this movie is Chris D'Elia, is that how you pronounce his name? This comic who is embroiled in a lot of controversy right now, was replaced. I don't know if he had already filmed the whole movie or if he was just filmed part of it, but they digitally removed him and put in his place another actor called Tig Notaro. I looked at some of the reviews of the movie and people are saying that they think that she did a really good job and Delia is not really missed. And when I was watching her, I kind of tried to picture what he would be like in that role. But I thought that she did a really good job. So basically when she filmed her scenes, everything was already filmed, and so she was acting by herself. So when you're watching the movie, if I hadn't known that, I honestly would not have thought that anything was out of place. It seemed that she was there in the scenes, but she filmed them alone. So I thought that was really cool, and they did a really good job of making it seamless. And if you didn't know that little bit of backstory about the movie and the replacement of its actors, you would not have known. When I first pulled up the movie, I saw that it had a 2.5-hour runtime, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be painful. Because honestly, zombie movies, generally, I can take or leave them. This one seemed different though, so I really did want to check it out, but I hesitated for like a second when I saw that runtime. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this tonight, but I was able to finish it. And I actually think that it was paced really well. So it starts out kind of getting to the point, and then the movie really focuses more on the mission of them getting inside the zombie infected Las Vegas and all the hurdles that they have to go through to get this money and to get back out, because they have to get back out within a certain amount of time because their lives depend on it. And then another thing about zombie movies is, you know, the classic zombie, but I think that zombie movies have been done so much that people usually will try to do something to differentiate themselves from other movies. They're zombies from other zombies. And I think that for me, not being a zombie expert, I can say that it appears that they did a good job in making this story a little bit different and making the zombies a little bit different than your run-of-the-mill zombie. So that is something to look forward to. And then the ending of the movie kind of leaves it open a little bit. People are wondering if there's going to be a sequel. So, and there's a couple theories about how they might do that. That is basically the spoiler-free review. Only thing left is for me to say, if you couldn't tell already, I did like the movie. I would recommend you giving it a watch. This, I think, was released in theaters a little bit ahead of when it was released on Netflix. You can watch it from home. You don't have to go anywhere. And it's just a fun movie. I would say it's also a little bit graphic and kind of gets you on the edge of your seat, but I think that it wasn't too graphic. So I'm somebody that doesn't like a lot of graphic violence and things like that. So it really was just enough to really give it that edge. And overall, really solid movie. I think that people are liking it. So if you're interested, give it a watch. And if you have watched it and want to discuss spoilers, or if you don't mind spoiling it for yourself and you want to keep watching, then keep watching as I just give like a brief summary of what happened, if you'd rather just hear about what happened instead of watching the movie. So as I said, the movie is pretty well paced, and it starts out really showing how this very localized zombie apocalypse starts. I think that one of the things that makes this movie so different from other zombie movies is, in other movies, it's really like a worldwide apocalypse. Basically, it's happening to everyone and it's happening everywhere. But here, the opening of the movie shows a car of two newlyweds coming up against this like motorcade of military vehicles, and they're carrying something, and a couple of the people that are driving, well, one of the person that's driving with the passenger are talking about what they think is in their payload, I think is what it's called. So no one's paying attention while they're driving. Newlyweds are doing newlywed things behind the wheel, and the military guys are kind of looking at each other. And right when they're about to hit the military, there's two military vehicles. The first one swerves, and then the newlyweds hit the second one. So when they hit, the payload pops open, and then they're on the walkie-talkie telling headquarters or whoever what happened, and they're telling them to get out of there because what is inside is a zombie. So it looks like it was a zombie soldier, so I don't know if it's like, my mind always goes to, what's the story behind this? How did this come to be? Why is that person infected? Where did they come from? Why is it in a military truck? So I don't know if it was an experiment, a government experiment, or if it's just someone who happened to get infected and they're being transported for testing. I don't know. It is never told. And I feel like these movies never focus on that, and I probably think way too much about that part because they're never about that. They're just about the action and the gore. And so I think I just think about things way too much. But so all those soldiers get attacked and then turned into zombies. So then they descend upon Las Vegas. But it seems that there's swift action taken and Las Vegas is all blocked off. So the outside world around it is not affected, and there's news coverage. And basically the President of the United States in the movie has decided to do like a local nuclear attack on that area to get rid of all the zombies. So the businessman comes to one of the people who you see from the beginning. He lost his wife, and his daughter's kind of estranged from him because of he lost his wife to her becoming a zombie, and he had to make her not be a zombie anymore. We all know how that happens. You know, you gotta take away their brain, basically, like by any means necessary. So he and so he was approached to get all this money out of a particular Las Vegas casino that is surrounded by zombies. So he puts a team together and they go in. So they're it's kind of like, I don't know how you pronounce it or how you would say it, like a ragtag of people. So this guy puts together some people that he knows, and then there's a woman from this camp that, let me get some names for you. I'm really bad with character names. So Scott Ward is the leader of this pack of characters. He's played by David Bautista, and the woman who is kind of in the know about how things work inside this zombie-infested Las Vegas. Her name is Nora. Wait, her name is Lily. She's played by someone called Nora Ernez-Ider. I think she's French. She kind of knows how she knows the inner workings. So basically the zombies in this movie have a king and a queen, and they created this hierarchy or this zombie community where at least the king and queen seem to be higher thinking, and they're king and queen because they're a couple. And it turns out that she's also pregnant, which you find out after she is later beheaded by another person on the team who was not assembled by Scott Ward, but by Hunter Bly, which is the person who brought them all there, who is the businessman wanting this money. But it turns out he doesn't actually want the money. He just wants the queen zombie's head so that they can sell her blood to the government, so that they can make zombie, like controlled zombie weapons of mass destruction. So this guy who was what's his name? Martin. He kind of sabotages one of the members who's onto him, so she gets killed. And they all think that it's about the money, but it's really about the zombie head, which is kept a secret. And Lily works with Martin on getting the zombie head because he, promises her some kind of a deal, but he winds up betraying them all. But she kind of guesses this, so she winds up switching the head and keeps the head for herself. And then Martin winds up getting attacked and killed by a zombie tiger. I think that's a first. Is it? Zombie animals? Is that typically featured in movies? I don't know. So Kate is Scott's daughter, and she is at the same camp right outside of Las Vegas that Lily is. And she is friends with Geeta, who has a couple kids, and she helps out with these kids at the camp. For some reason, Geeta goes into zombie Las Vegas, and I don't know why. I think she's gone to try and save somebody. I'm not exactly sure, but one of the things about the zombies that's different too in this movie is they take hostages. Like, they'll take people and keep them somewhere, and they won't turn them or like eat them for a while. So I feel like that's a little bit different in most zombie movies. I think that it's kind of like they just eat you right there. So I did like that change. That made it a little bit more interesting to watch. There was a little bit more of a plot with the zombies, more than just they were, zombies. I don't know. It seemed like at least the king and queen zombie was more higher thinking. I don't know. The rest of them just kind of seemed to be like a mob mentality and just kind of followed the king and queen, but really other than that were pretty much typical zombies. When the group first gets to zombie Las Vegas, it seems that the sun kind of has something to do with them being dormant during the day. So when they come in, all these zombies are kind of in piles, but they can wake up, but they look like they're dead. So that was another kind of interesting thing too, almost like adding to the mythology of zombies, kind of like how, zombies or vampires in vampire movies are this kind of standard vampire rules, but sometimes it can vary from movie to movie. So that was kind of a little interesting difference, I think, with regard to the zombies. Kate knows that she feels like Geeta is in there somewhere because Lily says, Lily is the person that kind of brings in people and brings people out. So Lily says that Geeta she lost track of her, and that she doesn't know if she's alive or dead. She didn't see her killed. So she doesn't know if she's in there or not. And Kate really doesn't want these kids to lose their mother. So at one point, after they finally get to the safe and get it open, Kate, her dad is distracted for a little while, and she goes off to, I think it's called the Olympus, which is another casino, and which is the home of all the zombies, the king and queen zombie. So But as I said before, the queen zombie is impregnated somehow. So I have questions, as usual. I want to know, was this couple a couple before they became zombies? So I kind of wonder if it's actually the couple from the beginning of the movie in like the newlyweds. They're in the car and they get into the crash. But at least the man, the body type seemed a little bit different. So I don't know if it's them or if it's like, how did they become zombie king and queen, you know? And then also, was she pregnant beforehand? And then the zombie's just a baby zombie and is growing as long as she's not dead. Or if zombies can now make babies of their own. I don't really think that wasn't addressed. I don't know. I have questions. I need to know. So Kate sneaks into the Olympus and finds that Gita is still alive. And her dad knows that's where she's gone. He comes in to save her. But when they... Oh, backtrack a little bit because I want to talk about my favorite characters. So there's a bromance between a couple of the characters. There is Vanderol, played by Omari Hardwick, and Ludwig Dieter, played by Matthias Schweighofer. He's German. They're hilarious together. So when the zombie king and his minions kind of take over the casino where the money is, they try to fight off the zombies, but Ludwig Dieter, we'll call him Dieter, helps fight off the zombies from Vanderol and then puts Vanderol in the safe and then sacrifices himself. And then when the nuclear blast comes, Vanderol survives it because he's in the safe. More on him later. So when Kate, Gita, and Scott get up to the helicopter, Tig Notaro, her name is Marianne Peters in the movie. So Marianne leaves it first because she wants to save herself, because when she drops off, oh God, when will I ever be better at names? Scott and Kate, when she drops off Scott to rescue Kate, they've got 9 minutes, I think, or less, because they've moved up the nuclear bombing. So she leaves momentarily to save herself, but then has a crisis of conscience and comes back. So, one of the frustrating things about movies, I feel like when characters think that they're finally safe, they pause for a minute to just smile at each other or like take a breath instead of keep going. And so that is what messes up Scott and the rest of the people on the helicopter, because King Zombie gets to the top and he is able to freakishly, with his zombie superpowers, jump and catapult himself inside of the helicopter. And so I was really hoping that Scott would survive, but basically he gets bitten, plane goes down, and Kate has to watch her father turn into a zombie and end that. And so conveniently a rescue helicopter comes and saves her as the only survivor of the crash. Then cut to Vanderhol popping out of the safe in Las Vegas after it's all leveled from the blast, and he walks to this trailer that has a car, drives to a airport and charters a private plane. Discovers he's bitten, and as they are going to be flying to Mexico City, I think it is, he's like probably conflicted. So I don't know if, so that's kind of where I mean, where it's kind of left open. So it's left open in that way because we don't know if he, kind of ends himself from, turning into a zombie, or if he doesn't, and then the change takes hold, and then there's a new infection in Mexico. The other theory is Lily, who I didn't mention what happened to her before. So she has a zombie head, and she winds up getting pinned by like a rod to the side of the building by the king zombie, and then she drops the head over the side, and finally Zombie Queen is finally gone. So another theory is that King Zombie made her into his new Queen Zombie. Although that wouldn't matter because Las Vegas was leveled, so they would have all been zapped anyway. So I don't think that's really a viable theory. But I loved the bromance between Dieter and Vanderbilt, but I also loved Dieter's scream. He had never killed a zombie before. He and one other person in the bunch had never killed a zombie before. And he shot one like 4 times at one point, but like every time a zombie would come at him, he would scream and somebody else would shoot the zombie. But he has the best scream. So that's pretty much it. Let me know if you've seen this movie, if you think it was good, that it was great. I would recommend watching. Other than this movie, what is your favorite zombie movie? And if you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know when I upload, and I will see you in my next video.